finding a lot of security problems at colleges, like I've been talking about, and this one here was 12.4. Yeah, I haven't seen you. Okay. This one surprised me. I was looking for SQL injections, and I found a bunch of websites that would just download student enrollment records without any password, which is interesting. It's a student name, their ID number, and then like what dates they showed up in class. And that is not PII. PII, personally identifiable information, is your name plus another fact that identifies you, like a birthday or a driver's license number or something. And a meaningless student ID doesn't count, which is why everybody uses it. But it is a violation of FERPA, which is the Privacy Act that applies to colleges, where you cannot publish any directory of students without giving them a chance to opt out. So I contacted them to fix it. And it was kind of interesting. Two of them fixed it the first day. And I said, you all have the same kind of problem and you all have the same weird URL, so I think you're all using the same product to monitor student enrollment, and it has a defect. And they wouldn't tell me the name of the product. These two colleges, one of them said, well, I don't think it's the product. The other one said, it's the product, and I told the manufacturer, and they already made a patch in response to this, which an emergency patch, and another one coming out this day. So by this day, 4 of them had fixed it. What's entertaining is the local one, the one in San Francisco, contacted me and said, we heard about the patch, we're planning to patch it, please take us off that page. I said, well, you know, that's not how it works. My goal in this project is not to conceal the guilty. And they didn't patch it. They just want to be taken off the list to avoid the embarrassment of appearing to have a problem. Well, they continue to have the problem. And there's only about 1 1/4 of the people I notified that try that, which I'm not willing to cooperate with. I haven't published the details of how to download it, but I probably will next week. But that was kind of funny because these guys I notified, and they've gradually been patching their stuff. See, very few of them have patched, maybe 2 out of 10. These are open SQL injections, which means they can just take over their server, debase their web page or anything else, and most of them just don't care. A few of them fix it. But one of these called to complain, how dare you send out a group of 10 notifications at once while you're telling me other colleges about our embarrassing problem here. And so I'm learning gradually how to do this better. My first thought was, well, you're only going to love it next week when I publish the whole list with all details. I said, well, that's probably not the right answer. I'm going to publish this to the world next week. Then I said, well, I assume the victims aren't going to hack each other. So having other colleges with weaknesses know about your weaknesses isn't that big a deal. The criminals already know about this. They've known about it for years. But that wasn't a good answer either. So I finally said, well, it makes it easier for me to send the email. Let me just think I'm an idiot. That's probably better than daring to suggest that he's on the wrong track. But he probably will be angry when I publish the whole thing with all the URLs next week. Because, I mean, anyway. But I've met a couple of these guys at Baythreat, the people at these colleges, and it's very interesting. I'm trying to get into, I'm trying to be able to see this one from the inside. Anyway, this one is the Viagra solution. I still don't know how it gets in, and I don't know how it reproduces, but I know it's nasty. Yeah, I think it comes in with automated SQL injection attacks. Once it's in, it's very hard to remove. I notified 7 colleges, I've notified 19 colleges, 7 cleaned it the next day, and 4 of them had it just come back and they couldn't figure out how to clean it again. And it's because they're not doing it right, and I could help them, but I'd have to get access to be inside the network. And I haven't got that yet, but I did learn quite a bit more from inside a couple of networks from meeting the administrators that were at the other end of these emails at Baythreat. So anyway, this is the newest one that I published just last night. While I was yesterday, a man contacted me who runs servers, and he runs some kind of offensive server, some kind of server full of pirate software or pirate game hacks or something that people don't like. So he gets attacked a lot. And so he records the Apache logs of his attacks and let me have them. And so here they are, 6 megs and another 4 megs of glorious attack traffic, which is pretty good stuff. And so I boiled it down and found all the EDUs. These are WordPress blogs that are currently under hostile control and being used for denial of service attacks. So I contacted these colleges, let them know I have the IP and the URL and the blog, and now I have another, I think 2,000. I just went right before I got here. I was analyzing it, the whole list of 100,000. Boils down to only 2,000 infected WordPress blogs, and I don't quite know how to notify these guys. Now, I've been doing this all on my own because I have no particular faith in the organizations that exist to do this, but there are 2 of them. One is US Search, and these are the guys that are supposed to handle problems, but these guys, I think, only care about huge problems, like things that threaten national security. I really don't think they care about my piddly little 2,000 WordPress blogs or my SQL injection at colleges. But there is one just for colleges, which some people say I should be using, and I'm trying to figure out what to make of them. If I can find it. Yeah, Ren ISAC. Red ISAC is something specifically about college security. But I haven't completely understood this group. It looks to me like something where you have to join the club. But anyway, I'll try it. In fact, what I did was I took my original 19 notifications from a month ago, where only 5 of those people ever fixed their problems, and I sent it to these guys to see if they will do it. Because it's possible that when they get an email from these guys, they will take it seriously, and they get an email from me, they'll throw it away as spam. What you're supposed to do is trust the government to take care of it. Send all these reports to the government and assume it's all taken care of. And I'm not willing to do that, but I am willing maybe to notify them in parallel with directly notifying people. Because I tried the European search, and they are basically a man-in-the-middle attack. They promise to respond, they don't respond. You send stuff to them, and nothing happens. So, anyway, we'll see what happens. And so far, people have been pretty polite about it. But it is kind of interesting to monitor security, and as the security at colleges is really fantastically terrible. And part of it, I was surprised, I was talking to the administrator of UC Berkeley, and their security is terrible by design. Because their #1 issue is academic freedom and privacy. So their networking team is not allowed to record any IP addresses or filter any traffic or even see the content of any emails or anything. So they really can't do much of anything. You can just put up a server, put up an old version of an OS, get it all infected, and they can't do anything about it. Because their #1 concern is not to snoop on anybody, because that's the center of the 3Cs movement. I mean, the mere whisper that you were somehow interfering with them. He said one time they found botnet traffic coming out, and they tried to block that, and the CS department said, oh no, we're setting up botnets and researching how botnets are controlled and deliberately sending all this botnet traffic, and they say, oh man, how are we supposed to secure anything around here when you do that kind of stuff and you don't even tell us? So they pretty much can't block much of anything. And that suits their business model. But the other colleges, I think, are just in what tends to happen, they fall into firefighting mode, where they're just constantly a disaster, and they're barely struggling just to keep the servers up, and they have no time to worry about details like whether they're being owned. Anyway, so I guess it's about time to get on track here. I just want to do more of this deployment stuff. You guys need lights on, or are you comfortable enough this way? Okay, no complaints. All right, let's